Timmy D, Mark and Jeannie Simon here.
Hey, what's going on, Mark? Woo! And Jeannie as well. It's so great to talk with you, and it was nice to see you in Vegas a couple weeks ago.
That was a trip, wasn't it? Great show.
It was very fun. Now, tell everybody, we had you on the show once before, and you contacted me. You wanted to kind of tell a little bit of some of the projects you have going on. So we'll give you this opportunity. Tell everybody what you have been doing since a year ago when you were on.
Wow, it's been a whole year already?
It seems like it. Time does fly.
Man, does it ever.
Wow.
Well, obviously, when you and I got together out in Las Vegas, I was out there with 10 or 12 of my clients, where I was mentoring them through selling their TV shows at the biggest TV buying conference in North America called Natpe. So that was a lot of fun. But the thing that you and I talked about the other day, which was really interesting, that I thought that people would like to hear a little bit about, I just got back from a trip to Guadalajara, Mexico. And the Mexican government is financing 52 animated shorts profiling the history of Mexico to celebrate their bicentennial, which comes up next year.
Wow.
They released one every week through 2010 in movie theaters all across Mexico. So the producers and the government hired me to come down and train their studio in storytelling and how to storyboard.
And I bet that was a very interesting experience as well for you.
Yeah, it really was, for a number of reasons. One, the people were great. I mean, everyone that they put together were so into this project. There's not much of an animation project or an animation industry, right,
well, really
in Mexico.
Infrastructure.
Right.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're trying to set this up so that everyone learns, who's getting into this, learns the latest and greatest techniques and software. And they're using this to launch an entire industry. So they hired more people than they really needed for it, and they're bringing in experts from all over the world to train them, and hoping that this will promote the talent, promote what they can do also outside of the industry, but also grow it from within. It's a really great idea.
Wow, that is a great idea. And I like, too, I think I had commented to you when I first heard about it, that it's nice that, I mean, obviously, especially the way the economy is and with people out of jobs, it's nice that there are other avenues and other markets opening up to possibly get people employed.
It is, and there's also a bit of irony when you hear so much about Mexicans trying to get work in the U.S. and here they're hiring me from the U.S. to go down there.
Right, exactly.
And I got to tell you, a lot of what we hear about Mexico really ended up not being true. I mean, of course, when I went, the first thing everyone said, "Don't drink the water. Be careful what you eat." I ate at the best restaurants, and I ate at the greasiest little family-run joints that on corners. And because I love family-run joints like that.
Yeah,
Me too.
Bad meal.
The meals were fantastic.
Yeah.
My stomach never bothered me in the least. It was an absolutely fantastic trip.
Wow, you might not wind up getting endorsements now for tourism and travel for Mexico. That sounds good. Well, we also wanted to touch base. We mentioned about a little bit the fact that you were out of in Natpe. We're taking a couple students there to mentor. Now, you have another exciting project coming up, which is what we talked to you about last year, which was your Hitmaker Summit. And that's a really fascinating opportunity for anyone that has ever had a television show idea or anyone that is currently working on one, but just don't know exactly what to do with it, formulate with it, and where to take it. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, it is a really great event. We call it the Hitmaker Summit, as you mentioned. And in this summit, Jeannie and I spend 3 really intensive days working with everyone who's there on how to make their show better, how to make it more of what the networks are looking for, what they need to put together, and we really working with them on their pitches.
Yeah, it's a combination of Mark and I lecturing, and we also have other great guest speakers. We've got a WGA writer, we have a Spike executive come in, we have we have a head of a TV station come in, and he's done documentaries and all kinds of shows. In fact, he created a show for ABC.
Wow.
And all these experts come in and tell their story about how they sold their shows, and they tell stories about the industry. And this also helps people understand Hollywood and how it works. So at the end of 3 days, it's like a crash course in the TV industry. And they also know how to pitch their show by the end of day 3. And we actually videotape them. pitching their show to us, so they have something to take home.
And they can study themselves.
Yeah, and they can see what they did right and what some things they'd like to change.
Yeah, it's also interesting because we keep it down to under 30 people, which, and we could, of course, we could fill a pretty big place of people who are interested in pitching their shows. But by keeping it really small, we get to spend a lot of one-on-one time every day with every single person that's there. So this is not just sit and listen. This is really everyone working there with Jeannie and I and the other experts that we bring in.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, it's really great because you definitely have a lot of experience, and people can definitely check out the website that you have and learn a little bit more about the summit, but also some of your background, and they'll realize just how accomplished you both are and why taking lessons and information from you is so important and what you're able to do for them. And I know it's probably very exciting for you too because you're able to, I guess, see these people start the idea from the very beginning, and I'm sure it's really cool to see it come to where it is. As a matter of fact, I think you had several different success stories. Would you like to share one of them?
Yeah, I was going to say, Manya and Claudia were two ladies that came to our summit last March. And they had a great demo. They had like a 3 to 5 minute piece, and it was pretty good. But their pitch was not very good at all.
And they were missing some elements to the show as well.
Yeah. So we gave them some notes on how to make their piece better, their videotape piece. But we really worked with them on their pitch and how to get across how special and the core sentiment of their show, because that's what they were missing. It's a reality show. It's called Give a Living Rose. So a week after our summit, they landed a pitch meeting with the head of a network. This is unusual, but they pitched this man, and he bought it on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It was awesome, and then they were in production 1 week later. Now, that's unusual, and that's very fast, but it can happen, and in fact, their show premiered last month.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we're running out of time, but I think we've kind of mentioned a little bit to the audience, and hopefully they will be interested in checking out the website. So real quickly, tell everybody what that website is so we can send them to that.
Well, for the summit, you can go to hitmakersummit.com. It has all the information about the event. It comes up in March, and definitely take a look. It's something that I think everyone would enjoy.
That's great, and I'll be down there on Monday during the summit and look forward to getting to see you again and meeting some of the students and saying hi.
Yeah, we're spreading the word. Can't wait to have you down here.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Nice round of applause for Mark.